So today, as I was riding on the bus back home from work, DiscoTek had the first media day, if you will, called a very discotheque media New Year's. Yeah, that's the title of it. They called it a very discotheque New Year's, or very discotheque media New Year's. And they did announce some titles, not much that we were hoping. For that is not much we were hoping for, but I think that might all change as time goes on, especially since we now have basically a concrete release date for one that I think is gonna really, to me, set the tone for the moment to happen. Again, we don't have concrete confirmation, but if you got if you got the one series that came out alongside it, the one that was in syndication. And obviously, Wild Brain is, remastering. Well, I wouldn't say remastering, but up converting, resoluting the episodes of the Saturday morning version up to 1080p. Then obviously there has to be something, about that to me, kind of spells out the fact that there's something going on, but they're just not letting us know. But anyway, basically, the discotheque thing was today. It was at 6 p.m. Pacific, and today, the 30th, of January, was 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, and it was going on while I was, like I said, on the bus heading home. But I tried to pay attention to it as best I could. Couldn't really do that. So when I got home, I got caught all up to what they were talking about, what they're going to be releasing. So with that said, let's get into some of these titles. And I think they gave us, a fairly good amount. Some that I do recognize, and one at the end that I'm actually looking forward to getting, because I am a fan of this character and mostly, the premise of it. And I do have one of the revisings, one of the, I guess you could say, retcon reboots that they did back in the, I would say early to mid 2000s. So, I can't. Obviously, I want to get my hands on this, and I think it's the one where there's a scene out there where the main character turns herself into a statue to disguise herself in the middle of a park. And I think you know who I'm talking about just by bringing that up. But with that said, though, guys, let's look into DiscoTek Media, a very DiscoTek Media New Year's live stream and the announcements that they made. So the first announcement we got was Magical Girl Lyrica Nora Reflection Magical Girl Lyrica Nanoha Reflection. It is basically, and you see it on the page here, or on the video here. It is going to feature. It is basically the first of two feature films, is what it says. It's the first of two feature films that will diverge from the main Magical Girl Lyrica Nahano series. It'll be in Japanese with subtitles, theatrical 5.1 audio tracks, trailers, and it'll be coming later in this year. So I would assume maybe the summer, if not, fall of this year. But that, and, if you're a fan of that, you know what it is. You will be getting at least one of the first of the two movies out this year. So that's something to really look forward to, in my opinion. Really is. So from the vault, we have the next release, and that is Ira Zeroram, the animation. Ira Zeroram, the animation. Basically, it says it's Escape from the Vault. It says, basically, in the description, you got brand new 2K film scan from original negatives. First Blu-ray release anywhere in the world. Will include original US Manga Corps dub. Other extras to be determined. Comes out later this year. And they do say that the new dub has been synced to the new remaster. So basically the original, because basically when you try to remaster something but keep the original dub, the syncing doesn't always work out. So obviously here they've made sure to fix that and make sure it works out better. In other words, there's no no words matching the mouth or anything like that. They're gonna make sure it works out fine. So yeah, it's good to see. It's good. It's great to hear about, and I cannot wait to probably add this to my collection. You guys got to give me a little bit of lowdown on Iron Zero Ram, the animation. Next up, we have a wind named Amnesia. Has also escaped from the vaults. They basically describing it as there are naked ladies in this one. In the lowdown, the description is another first in the world Blu-ray release. New 2K scan from our friends at Tokyo Laboratory, or their friends at Tokyo Laboratory. It includes original manga UKCPM dubbed version. Also, that trailer you just saw was special. So I guess they basically, if you follow these here on Twitter as well as on Twitch, they give you a trailer of what one of them is going to be before announcing it and showing you what the cover art is going to be coming soon. So yeah, a wind named Amnesia is coming to Blu-ray for the first time ever. So if you're a fan of that, that's pretty good. They said basically that the trailer was found in the vault and it appears to have never actually. Okay, this is what they said. They said that trailer that they used to promote this, and I'm not going to show it here because of what it may contain. It says that trailer was found in the vault and it appears it was never actually used before. This is the first time it has been seen. And then they give a little bit of extra on the Blu-ray. It says, a little fun extra on the Blu-ray. Not often you get a brand new vintage trailer for a movie. And this is what it says. This 35mm trailer, this 35mm trailer, 35mm trailer, was found in the vault along with the final film. There was no audio, and we were unable to locate any video copy. We made a replacement soundtrack for it based on the style of the era. It may have been abandoned when a wind named Amnesia was released direct-to-video. Additionally, there is some damage resulting from what looks like a lab processing error. It is presented here on video for the first time. So in other words, it sounds like originally this anime was supposed to be theatrical released, possibly not just in Japan but around the world, but instead was switched over to direct-to-video. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be an interesting a thing to watch, and when it comes out, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to get their hands on it when it does release, because I'm sure a lot of people have heard about it, and the name does sound very familiar, if you will. It does sound kind of familiar to me, but we'll see. I might get my hands on it. Now they've made the announcement that they're going to be adding a new title to the Lupin the Third collection. It's called Lupin the Third: Angel Tactics to Area 51 and Beyond with the Gang. But basically, it's called Lupin the Third: Angel Tactics. It is the 17th Lupin the Third TV special that comes to Blu-ray. It says the Lupin gang's endless capers take them to Area 51. And it's in Japanese with subtitles. Other stuff will be determined, and it'll be coming later in 2023. So that's going to be really interesting to see, especially if you're a Lupin the Third fan, to get Angel Tactics on Blu-ray for the first time. So yeah, another one is coming to physical media thanks to DiscoTek that you can add to your collection. Now they're going to be talking about Nihon Nights, which is the live action division, and Nihon Nights is basically the release of original Japanese movies with subtitles, dubs, you name it. Sometimes some of these titles that they have are first time releases, some of them are re-releases, and so on. So Yeah, they got some new ones under the Nihon Nights label that they want to announce. So let's look at these, shall we? Now, first of all, they do recap us on a couple of them, which is female Yakuza tale, Shogun Samurai, and Uzumaka, if you will, or Uzumaka, that have been released so far, and now it's time for them to give another one to us. And that is Bohachi Bushido the Villain. That's right, Bohachi Bushido the Villain. It is described as the spiritual successor to Tiro Ishii's famous cult classic Bohachi Bushido. It stars Goro Ibuki. It's in Japanese with subtitles. It has somehow even more nudity than female Yakuza tale. It's coming later in 2023. Other details will be, the other details like extras and all that will be determined. They do describe it as, it is a video that is pretty nice with a bit of a grindhouse grunge. The subs are all new for this release. And then, of course, it mentions what it said there about even more nudity than Yakuza tale. But yeah, Bohachi Bushido, the Villain, is the next one that's on the list from the Nihon Nights division. Alright, the next one they have announced for release is The Bullet Train. And no, it's not the Brad Pitt one that recently came out. Anything. It's the original 1970s one from Japan. And they even say there are no Brad Pitts in this movie. Brad Pitt was not allowed on the Shirakasan in the 1970s. It says that basically The Bullet Train is the original Japanese action thriller directed by Junra Saito and starring Ken Takarura, Sonny Chibara, and Ken Utsuru. It's in Japanese with newly revised subtitles. It includes interviews with the director Junrai Sato, and it's going to have trailers, and it's coming later this year. So yeah, the original 1970s version from Japan of The Bullet Train will be released by DiscoTek. Alright, so the next thing on the list is they talk about Tahuka time, basically Tuku time. Tuku time is basically the Japanese distributors of Kamen Rider Black and Space Sheriff Gaivan. They talk about them, they mention them here, but they say they got something that's next, something new. And what it is Kamen Rider Black RX. That's right, Kamen Rider Black RX. This looks like, from what I'm looking at with this cover, looks like the Kamen Rider, the Masked Rider, if you will, that got crossed over with Power Rangers. So it says, Kamen Rider Black RX. It says the RX in the title is because he's a licensed pharmacist. I guess that's true. They say some said he wouldn't be back. Some said he wouldn't be back. They were wrong. All 47 episodes in beautiful full high def, 100% guaranteed fibris free, whatever that is. And it's got new interviews with the star Taitsu Kuruta and in-suit actor Jiro Akamoto. And it'll be out later this year in 2023. So if you're into Kamen Rider Black RX is, I guess, a definite must for you guys. So next up, they talk about going away from Tuku, Otaku, and jumping over to Western cartoon talk. They mention that they've already released such childhood favorites as Street Sharks, Double Dragon, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's time for another one. But which one is it? Well, unfortunately, it's not Sonic SatAM That'll probably come later. I know they're working on it. They obviously have heard what I've had to say about it and everything, according to some people. But what is the one that they actually have decided to release? How about The Legend of Calamity Jane? That's right. That's right. Uh, the animated series that was on WB for a brief period, all 13 episodes, if you will. It says The Legend of Calamity Jane, French animation sensibilities meet the Old West. It says, description-wise, a little-seen Franco-American classic, co-produced by Gangsta Production, Coulter Ali, and Warner Brothers TV Animation. All 13 episodes are on standard Blu-ray, standard definition Blu-ray, SD, which is SDBD. They say this has Michael Horse in it. You remember Michael Horse from Twin Peaks, and it comes later in 2023. They also say there are familiar voices in there like Barbara Scaff, Frank Welker, Clancy Brown, Michael Horse, and Tim Matheson. So, yeah, instead of getting like what we would expect, which would be Sonic, instead we're going to get a short-lived WB series that aired on Saturday mornings on the Kids WB, Legend of Calamity Jane. I've heard about it. I saw when they promoted it. So let's see if maybe it can get resurrected with a cult following. Speaking of Western-related material, we have the announcement of Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs. That's right, the Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs. They describe this as the English remaining of Sinjuro's Bismarck has a huge collection of classic voice actors, including Peter Cullen playing a giant transforming robot. It says the entire series plus an interview with the composer and some CGI they did for potential toys. And this is what it says. It says, Saban Rider and the Star Sheriffs. Fizzy and fun reimagining of the Japanese series Zero Jurison Bismarck arc starring your 80s favorite voice actors. Seriously, Peter Optimus Prime Colon plays a giant cowboy robot in this. It says all episodes on SDBD includes an interview with the musical composer and some CGI sequences for potential toys coming in 2023. So yeah, this is coming as well, and it's a reimagining of the Siri Jurison Bismarck series. So obviously it's going to be English dubbed. They might surprise us. They might add in some, the original Japanese version, but it's mostly going to be English dubbed. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. To see that they're doing. And yes, I have heard of Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs. As a matter of fact, if I can look it up here real quickly, I can tell you that this show came out in 1987. That's right, it came out in 1987. This is from Wikipedia. It says the show was based on Star Musketeer Bismarck, which is, of course, which is the English version of the Japanese name. A Japanese anime created by Studio Pierrot that achieved moderate success in Japan. The English language rights to the series were purchased by World Events Productions, the same company behind the English version of Voltron. WEP reorganized and rewrote the series, incorporating most of the original episodes and creating 6 new ones before releasing it under the name Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs. So in other words, just like they've done with Voltron when they brought it over, not only did they reorganize it and rewrite the series, but incorporate most of the original episodes with a few changes, but they also created new ones. And that's what happened with Voltron, thanks to World Event Productions, WEP, because they realized, well, if we're going to make it a success over on our side of the world, we need to basically change it up a little bit, as well as add our own little flavor, our own little Western flavor to it. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see that get released. And I know a lot of people that grew up in the 80s, like I did, will probably want to get their hands on it when it comes out later this year. The next announcement they make is the release, the upcoming release coming in spring of this year of Kadukachaha, the Middle School Years. That's right. It says, that's the title. It's Kadukacha, the Middle School Years. It says, basically in description, it's taken so long to get this ready. Sorry about that. But it says, it basically describes it as it's taken so long to get this ready. We're pretty much announcing it again. But they said, but it is, capitalized on the word is, ready. All 51 episodes on one SD-BD disc in Japanese with subtitles. Sana has a new BFF. Sana and Narazuma go to NYC and play on Broadway. There's an American, Jaime. His name is Brad, in other words, hunk to them. And then meet Heimermann's mom in mecha form, coming in spring of 2023. So, yeah, it's going to be, I guess if you're into that, if you know about it, it's going to be an interesting addition to your collection. Next up, they make the announcement coming in spring of this year of Meta Rot. That's right, Meta Rot. That's ROT. Instead of Meta Bots that we know about here on the Western side of things, we got Meta Rot. It says your Saturday morning before Meta Bots, there was Meta Rot. It says your Saturday morning fave like you've never. Okay, you know what? It's a lot you saw. It's a lot like you saw on TV, but only in Japanese with subtitles. It said all 52 episodes on one SD-BD disc. It's directed by Tenshu Akamura, who is behind Wolf's Rain, Darker Than Black, Memories, Stink Bomb. Yes, really. It says the sequel series, Meta Rod Dahamashi, is still coming later. It says coming in spring of this year. So in other words, this is the original version of Metabots, but with brand new subtitles. So that's pretty cool to see that we're going to get the original Japanese version of Metabots, on Blu-ray before the English one. All right, the next one they announced is Goro Gai Gyrer, the King of the Braves, Final. They said they soft announced this at the end of the last panel, which was, I think, in November. They said, but we just wanted to watch the opening with you all. Doesn't it look amazing? They showed the opening of the series, of the movie, I should say. It says, did you see how much stuff we put in on the first Gyro Blu-ray set? It says we have a similar huge variety of goodies for Final. It says clean OP/EDs, ultimate version of the OP, teasers, commercials, trailers, musical performance, interviews, and much more. It says it's coming in April of 2023. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see. So if you know about that, and I've heard about it a little bit, it's going to be nice to have in the collection when it gets released. All right, so the next one that they made the announcement is Aim for the Ace, the movie. That's right, Aim for the Ace, the movie. This is a TV. Basically, it's the 70s sports anime classic now in movie form. This is TV recap movie. Nope, this is all new animation. It says Asuma Desuka returns to the director's chair. First time in the U.S. in Japanese with subtitles, coming later in 2023. So yeah, and they also state it's the first time released. This is the first time it has come out in the U.S. So Aim for the Ace, the movie, being released later this year. Now they move on to say that they give a final update to Project Echo. The final update. They said the release of Project Echo 4 Final has been pushed back just a bit in order to perfect the awesome kick-ass and exclusive cover art. Let's admire the latest work-in-progress version together. So basically, the release is going to get pushed back maybe just a bit more to a later date, not too far away, to work on essentially the cover art. So we can only imagine what that's going to be like when it gets released this year. So yeah, if you're a Project A-ko fan, it's coming. Just it's going to take a little bit more time. Next up, they do give an update on Ultimate Muscle. Oh, the Kinnikuman Legacy. It says, previously announced, we don't have a date for our complete Ultimate Muscle SDBD set yet. They said that they say that they've discovered some issues with the Video Masters. They will need a little extra time fixing, so sit tight. With the rice, they like to have some cow. It tastes so very good. I don't know how. It's my favorite kind of chow. Oh wow! Eat now. I don't know what that is, but basically, Ultimate Muscle, the Kinnikuman Legacy, all 77 episodes on SDBD. It's coming. They just have to fix some issues with the Video Masters because it's not as easy to I guess you could say transfer over DVD releases to Blu-ray or certain Video Masters that have not been on physical disc to Blu-ray from VHS. So it's going to take time, but they're working on it. So here, next up, they show off the releases that came out this month in January. Those were City Hunter Movie and TV Special Collection, Go Geiger and Gaia King, Dino Mech Gaio King, Shaman King Original Series Japanese Version, Tichu 28 FX, and Virtua Fighter, which, by the way, you can find on Anime All Day, the Pluto channel called Anime All Day. It gets played once in a while over there over this past month. It has, and it looks all right. It looks pretty good. It looks like something that if you sit back and just watch it, you might get a kick out of it. So Virtual Fighter, Tenchi 28 FX, Shaman King, Gaia King, Dino Mech, Go Geiger, and City Hunter Movie and TV Special Collection have been released this month. So next up, they're talking about the releases they got planned for next month, and those are Aim for the Ace, Kamen Rider Black, that's what they have. Okay, these are releases for stuff coming out, already shipping in some cases. They have Aim for the Ace, the complete TV series, Kamen Rider Black, Symphony Gear 15, Fist of the North Star, The Legend of the True Savior, The Legend of Rowan, Chapter of Death and Love, and Ghost Stories. Those are the ones that they got planned for February. So that's really interesting. That's really cool to see. And if you want to be interested in getting those, they're going to be ready to go in February. So for March releases, they have another Mononoke. They have Mononoke, Treasure Island, and Lupin the Third, Shallow Tail Tattoo. So yeah, for March they have the release of another one of the Nihon Night releases, Mononoke, Treasure Island, and Lupin the Third, Shallow Tail Tattoo. So those are the ones coming out in March of this year in 2 months. And of course, April we have the releases of Gunbuster, the complete series. We have Saint Tail. We have Sonic X, original Japanese version, Suicide Club, and Go Geiger Final. And more to show for April. And of course, they end up showing off the cover art for the release of the Japanese version of Sonic X, which is pretty cool. They got a couple of versions, I think. There's 2 versions. You have one with just Sonic and Shadow on the front cover, and then you add in Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, Cream, Tails, Amy, Eggman, and Rouge, which is basically that image that you see coming across is basically the original poster, one of the original posters they released for promotion, and then of course you got the discs that are going to be released along with it. So yeah, this is going to be the original Japanese version, and I'm honestly can't wait to get my hands on that because I do have the original version on Blu-ray thanks to Frank Hill. I want to get this one, and I cannot wait. Also, they got one more release in April, which is Urasi. It's a Urasi Yatsurua TV series collection 1. They know that they basically say that they know this is one everybody's sitting on the edge for their seat waiting for, and it's coming. It'll be coming in April of 2023 of this year. So that's pretty cool. So yeah. So what else did they announce? Well, what else they announced was the new dubbing of Maze Kaiser versus the Great General of Darkness. It says, wait a minute, which face is the Great General of Darkness' real face? It says, the Turbo Smashing 2003 OVA retelling of the original Maze Geyser's Hero's Greatest Battle. It says, in beautiful 1080p HD, featuring the original Japanese version with subtitles and brand new English dub from Kochi Sound. And then, of course, they show off the cast of who will be playing certain characters. You can see it right there. Looks like they got themselves a decent cast to do the new English dub for for this release and everything. And they also show off some supporting cast, which I do not have, which I did not download to put on here. And then, of course, they give a recap of things, the things they've already talked about. And like I said, they give a recap of what they've talked about and everything. So, that way, if you came in a little late, you're pretty much up to date. And then, of course, they had a little more additional surprise for us. One more release that they got their hands on. And what was it? Well, if you've been on Twitter and you've been noticing that one of the tweets that have been trending, it's been hashtag cutie honey, because DiscoTek, of course, as they like to do, they always like to give you one more release that they got their hands on. That is Cutie Honey. That's right. It's the 3-episode OVA series from Hidekari Anoa, Hiro Yuka Amashi, Naruyuki Ito, and Masayuka Nishioka. It is newly 1080p via Astro resolution to perfect 1240p. It says featuring the original Japanese version with subtitles and brand new English dub from Sound Cadence. But who is the cast? Well, that's who they show off, and the cast basically is right here. They got they got Jessica Jessica Calavillo to come back and voice Cutie Honey Kisogara. She's coming back to voice the character for the English dub. They got her back. And then, of course, they showed off some of the other people that they brought in to voice other characters, main characters in this newly acquired dub that they got from Sound Cadence. So yeah, and then of course they show off a lot of the artwork, promotional artwork, cover artwork that we're going to be getting with the complete collection. And honestly, guys, like I mentioned at the beginning, I know about Cutie Honey. I have on DVD the one of the rebooted anime OVAs that they did back in the late 90s, early 2000s, early to mid 2000s. Always liked her. always like the idea that she could shapeshift into anyone or even anything she needs. I mean, I alluded to at the fact that she could shapeshift into a statue to kind of like she did in one scene where she had to recharge herself. So she basically used what was left of her energy at that time to turn into a statue in the middle of the park and just remain that way all night and everything until her comrades discovered her, and she had to basically wake them in, scare them into submission by waking up and telling them, "Hey, knock it off," So Cutie Honey, Cutie Honey, that's R-E Cutie Honey, is coming this year. I think I'm trying to figure out when is it coming out. I don't know. I'm trying to see if they got a release date for it. I don't know if they got a release date just yet. So I'm assuming it's got to be this year because if they're announcing it now, they got the cover art and everything ready to go. It's got to be this year. So, yeah. So yeah, can't wait for that. Love Cutie Honey, and yeah, that was really all they gave as far as the media day goes. So overall, not a bad presentation. Again, unfortunately, there was no Sonic SatAM or Sonic Underground announcements just yet, but I've got a feeling that's coming soon. Again, the ironicness right now is you have Wild Brain basically up converting, a lot of the episodes to 1080p for release on the YouTube channels. So I think it's only a matter of time because I believe there's a connection there between both sides. So I truly believe that eventually we're going to get an announcement of Sonic SatAM on Blu-ray, probably around May. That's my assumption. It's got to be around May, and I think maybe at the same time we might get Underground announced as well. I think again there's just a lot more details that. Well, not a lot more, but I would assume to say a few more details they have to work out. Besides waiting for maybe Wild Brain to complete the full up-converting, sort of remastering of the 1080p, 1080p-ness, if you will, of the episodes. So that way, when potentially DiscoTek does get the license or get the okay to distribute it, they'll look a lot clearer than just like slapping, the Shout Factor release onto onto one Blu-ray. You could have maybe one or two Blu-rays with more in-depth clarification because of the up conversion and all that. But yeah, unfortunately we didn't get that announcement, but hopefully we will soon. But I think what we got so far, I think is good. I think if you're a Western animation fan, Legend of Calamity Jane, Sable Rider, and the Star Sheriffs, and of course. Cutie Honey is good. Is a good lineup to have. Can't wait for that. Some of the other titles like Lupin the Third, you're a fan of that. That's going to be great. Original Shaman King, I know people are going to like getting. So yeah, it was a decent presentation, and I got a feeling as we go into the summer, which I think the next one will be, if not sooner, that's when we'll get the announcements we've been waiting for. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's when we'll get them. But anyway, guys, that's all I can really say on this right now. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Comment if you like. Live chat during the premiere. You will get, hopefully, an audio podcast version of this at the BW Roses Podcast Discussions. And until next time, I'll talk to y'all later.